Hello everyone and welcome to this week's not only foundation review but also primer review. Boop boop. I mean, why not? These are both seemingly targeted to me. Well, I mean, the foundation I would have tried anyways because y'all want me to, but I mean, this primer seems quite targeted towards me. I mean, it's a matte primer and I have oily skin. So, I think, you know, the main appeal, not only because of the shade range, but the shade range originated from a very famous YouTuber, Miss Alissa Ashley. She is, I mean, not only is she gorgeous, but she also has a wonderful YouTube channel. I am sure you all are not just hearing this from me. I mean, she's very well known, and for a good reason. But she helped work with NYX on this. I think the main thing that she did was going to NYX's lab and helping them to make different foundation shades, because for her especially, she's used to having to mix a couple of foundations to make her perfect undertone, so she wanted to go into their lab and help them actually make one foundation that will have the perfect undertone, so that a lot of people who are those in-between shades finally won't have to buy two foundations, they can just buy one. At least that's the hope. I mean, I think quite a few, at least like half of the shades, I feel like, have a decimal in the number. I mean, not only are the shades named, you know, light, medium, deep, whatever they're called, but they also have a number system. So, you know, it'll be like there's shade 1, there's shade 1.2. I don't know the actual decimals, but you know what I mean? So you can find your right undertone. At least that was the hope. I guess we're getting into it. Here you go. Here you can see all of the foundations lined up. I was a little nervous. This is one of those pictures where I feel like it reigns true that it is so important, you know, not to just judge based on foundation bottles lined up in order. Because, you know, a lot of people are always like, Cassie, that's a horrible shade range. There's only one row for deeps and there's only one row for lights. Well, that's the same with this foundation shade range, right? And there's not even a full row for deeps, you know? There's just a few on the top there. But I think looking at the actual models, which is how I like to form an opinion on whether or not it's a good shade range, the models look fantastic. I mean, not only in terms of them personally, but in terms of the shade range, and I think it just goes to show that the spectrum really is covered here, or at least it does seem very inclusive, at least to me. One thing that I did find a bit strange, and like, I don't know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know if it should rub me the wrong way, but something about it just irked me. On NYX's website, you know, it has the foundation and then it also shows a model, right? So that you can try and gauge what color you would be if you're trying to pick from online. However, on the few, like, handful, I think it was 4 shades that they did where they included a male model, or presumably male, they included the picture of the male model and a presumably female model. But on the rest of the foundations, it was just a female model. Like, why did they feel the need to include the female with the male? Like, couldn't the guy just stand alone on his own? Couldn't that just be the choice? I don't know. I don't know. Something about that really rubbed me the wrong way. Like, just let the boy be. He's good enough. Like, he's a good enough representation on his own. He doesn't need help from a female. You know? Because why was there, I don't know why that rubs me the wrong way so much, but I'm happy they included male models on the website, and I'm also happy that they included, you know, some girls that seemed to be bigger models rather than just all skinny models that, you know, okay, we're getting into it. Anyways, here's all the specs on this foundation. It is $15. It is supposed to be lightweight, waterproof, and pigmented AF, which, like, oh, NYX, why you gotta do things like this to seem hip and cool. This foundation is supposed to hustle as hard as we do. It's gonna be a comfortable formula that is not going to transfer, and it is going to be matte and give coverage that will last for 24 hours. Excuse me, up to 24 hours. And apparently it's gonna control shine and keep us looking matte all day long, but yet it's suitable for normal, combo, and oily skin. I always have a hard time believing that that's possible, but we're gonna try. I hope. I always keep my hopes up for this stuff to be true. And then the primer here is $14. It's gonna prep our skin for super smooth makeup application and give us a matte finish. And then, of course, you know, if you buy this stuff at Ulta, which is what I did right now anyways when I'm filming, and they tend to have this for NYX, but you can buy one, get one 50% off, so at least it makes the cost a little more bearable, and then you can use Ebates on top of that, so, you know, Little pro tip for you. All right, I think that's gonna do it. Let's go ahead and sing the song together. I'm gonna call this a YouTube made me buy it because of Alissa Ashley. It just seems appropriate since she's a YouTuber. Yeah, and I feel like that's where a lot of the hype is coming from for this foundation. So let's go ahead, sing the song together, and then we can go ahead and start putting this stuff on my face, see how it does. YouTube made me buy it, and now I'm gonna try it. Yeah! Whew, we got a little jazzy there. I'm just excited to test this out. So here we go. Here is my face. I definitely have some stuff that I want to color, some discoloration that I want to cover, and then I got this pesky bugger there. Oh, it hurts so bad. Anyways, alright, kind of typical spiel. I am going to be wearing my glasses for this review for the fellow glasses wearers of the world out there so we can see how this does. I am also going to be doing a half and half with my primers. So I'm going to use my normal primer on half of my face and then the NYX primer on the other half of my face so that we can see if the primer is affecting things or if the foundation just works really well on its own. Now, I didn't want to do primer on my whole face, or the NYX primer on my whole face, because then I wouldn't know, is it the foundation that's working really well? Is it the primer that's working really well? Maybe it's both. Do you need both of them to make the one thing work? You get what I'm saying? Sure, primer, let's see. Sticky little stickers. If you chip my nail polish NYX, that will not be a good start for you. Not that I would use that against them in this review. Okay, so we've got the primer here. NYX, look at you. You love me. Making up for those sticky stickers. We've got a safety seal here, so we'll take that off and I will use a hand that I didn't use to put on my Smashbox primer. I'll squirt a little bit of this out. I'm expecting it to be kind of... Oh, this is really hard to squeeze out. But, yep, it looks like a silicone-y, filly-any, your pores type of a primer. So let's see. I'm just gonna rub this in. It does feel like a silicone type smooth primer, but at the same time it doesn't. It actually feels kind of like cooling and hydrating, which is really strange. I mean, I'm okay with that. I just, like I said, not at all what I was expecting. Oh, we're getting, you see that? Some pillage. Oh, I am so weirded out by the fact that this feels really moisturizing. Or maybe it doesn't feel moisturizing, it just feels cooling. Either way, very strange, but I'm down. Now let's see the forehead. Wow, and I do feel like it makes my skin look a bit matte. Yeah, I mean, can you just see the shine on my forehead is like kind of amplified on that side, and then it's kind of dulled on that side. So, we'll see. Yeah, this side feels a lot smoother and like healthier, I guess. But this side feels like it's ready to take on some makeup. So, let's try it. I got the shade Light. I'm really hoping that this is my shade. I mean, I'm always hoping that I got my right shade, but I feel like it was especially hard on this one to figure out what my shade was. I mean, I think it looks like I did a pretty decent job at picking it out. So let's see. Comes with a pump. It's a glass bottle. So let's see. The best pumps are those that work, and this is definitely working. So it's slightly liquidy, but it also holds up on its own. But it is sliding down as well. Now, NYX said that you can use a sponge, a brush, your fingers. It seemed like you could do whatever the heck you wanted with this. So I'm gonna use a brush on this side just to test things out. Okay, maybe this is a little light. But it looks like it's going on well. Ugh, too light? Crap. In the bottle, it looked like it would be great. Oh well, and I don't know, it says full coverage foundation. I don't feel like this is full coverage by any stretch of the means, but we're gonna keep on trying, and I will try layering eventually. But it does feel very lightweight. I will absolutely give it that much credit. There you go. There's a half and half, so you can see what kind of coverage you get with a initial light application. I also feel like it has an ever so slightly chemical smell to it. But now I'm just gonna use a sponge on this side, see how this does, if it works any better for me. Ugh. I don't know. So here's where it makes it hard. For the most part, I think the sponge worked better, but I don't know if it's because of the primer or if it's because of the sponge, but it looks like it is kind of picking up in this area, the foundation, where it's not even. Do you get where I'm? Yeah, and see how it just kind of rubs off like that? I did not have the problem on this side, but I don't know if that's because of the brush or if it's because of the sponge or if it's because of the primer. I don't like the way the foundation looks on my nose on the Smashbox side, but I do like it on the NYX side. But also, is that because of the brush or is it because of the primer? Is it because of the primer? Is it because of the sponge? These are the problems with testing out too many different things at once. I am going to try and layer this because I want to see if I can get it to full coverage like it says it is. Okay, so I think sponge for the win, and definitely this is layerable. I feel like I was able to get it up to a fuller coverage of a finish. I also think that the sponge made my nose pores look better on the side that I had initially used the brush on, so overall, there it is. There is what it's looking like. I mean, it certainly looks like I'm wearing a foundation, not only because of the shade being too pale on me, but also because of just the way that this looks. But honestly, I just think that matte full coverage foundations always look like you're wearing foundation. I don't know. But there we go. There is the foundation on. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the rest of my makeup here, and then I will be back in just a second to check in with you all here on YouTube land. Ready? Ding! Alright, so here is the foundation. So far, I think so good, you guys. I'm just realizing I've had something in my teeth this whole time that I've been filming. I hope it hasn't been too noticeable. Oh, the regrets. They're setting in. I think the foundation is looking good. It is looking matte. And like I said, it certainly looks like I'm wearing foundation, but I do think it looks good for a foundation. It looks ever so slightly cakey around my mouth right now, which is a bit concerning this early on, but overall I am not too mad at it. At least, you know, on camera here and then in real life, I don't feel like it looks, I mean, certainly it looks too pale for me, yes. I get that. However, in the flash photo, ping! Yes, yes, laugh as you will. You may laugh. I laughed a bit too, a bit more in sorrow than your laughter probably is. Whatever it is, it's okay. I'm thinking this has a little bit of flashback to it because like I said, in real life it doesn't look that pasty. Otherwise my skin looks good and matte and nice, but it looks way too pale. Like, awfully pale. Emphasis on the awful. But there you go. Now you know. I am gonna go ahead, go about my day here. I've got work to get done, I've got errands to run, and then more work to get done. It's a work heavy day, but as always, I'm excited to take you guys along with me so that we can see how this foundation holds up on my face as well as the primer. We are testing them both. It is currently 10:42 in the morning. I'll be checking in with you all periodically so that we can see how they are doing, and then I will be checking in with you all at the very end of the night. So I will see you all very soon here on YouTube land. Bye.
What I do, what I do, da da do, da da do. What I do, what I do, da da do, da da do. What I do, what I do, da da do, da da do.
Good evening. It is the end of the night here. It is currently 11:07 in the evening. Good day, good day. I worked, I ran my errands, I did my chores, and I did more work. Here we are. And here's the foundation. Let's zoom in. As you can see here, I still have foundation on my face. That's great. But I don't think it looks great, especially not on the side that I used the NYX primer. Hopefully you're able to see in the close-ups where the foundation just gathered really funnily, like at the edge of my forehead, between my eyebrows, and then also around my nose area. So the primer, I'm just gonna vote that one out. We'll focus on the foundation. So while I'm telling you about the foundation, let's go ahead and also run through my pause rating system here so that you can get a numerical value on how I'm feeling. P stands for performance, A is for application, W is for worth the price, and S is for shade range. So for performance, it did pretty darn good. I will say it has felt very lightweight throughout all of today, even when I was sweaty and oily at different points. Even then, it didn't really feel much heavier. It got like maybe 5% heavier, well, maybe 10% heavier feeling, but like not heavy at all. It just, I could feel like, hey, I've gotten oily. And then I blotted my face and life was good again. However, as you can see on the blotting paper, there was quite a bit of transfer, and this is the kind of foundation where if you touch your face, it does come off a bit. So that's a bummer. Transfer proof, I disagree. Lightweight, I agree. I think it faded mostly gracefully on the side that I used my normal primer, but I also think that it looks a bit cakey in areas. It did not stay matte all day long, but like it did stay much matter than most foundations. So I do have to give it that credit. The way that it ended up looking throughout the day and with the transfer issues for performance, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3.75. For application, it was mostly good, except for on the side where I used the NYX primer and I had problems with it lifting off. Otherwise, it was definitely able to layer, but I do feel like the layering is where and what made this look cakey. So application isn't perfect. It wasn't awful or anything, but it wasn't perfect. So I'm gonna give it a 4.25. On the application. Worth the price, 15 bucks. I mean, it's getting so hard nowadays for drugstore foundations because I feel like 12 to 15 bucks is kind of the norm now, but I feel like the Revlon Color Stay is cheaper than this, and I would wear the Revlon Color Stay before I wore this again. If you get what I'm saying, yeah? It's not that this was bad, it's just I like the Revlon Color Stay more, so worth the price. I mean, it's not a horrible price or anything, I just think that you can get better for less. But that being said, I do think that it has its value, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3.5. A 3.5, we'll go with that. And then shade range looked great as far as I could tell. You know, I always feel weird now talking about shade range, or not weird, but like scared. But from what I could see online with the models that were used, it looked like a really good shade range. It looked like there were quite a few pale shades, there were quite a few deep shades, there were certainly lots of in-between shades. No foundation line can ever be perfect, but especially for drugstore, I do think this was very, very good. So I'm gonna give it a 4.8. How about, yeah? So overall, this is getting a 16.3 out of 20, or a 4.075 out of 5 paws. But if we take the good shade range out of there, this gets more of how I feel about the product. It gets a 3.83333 repeating out of 5 paws, which is where I would put it, you know, just below 4 paws. I didn't think this was bad. I feel like it's quite good, actually. I personally will be returning this to Ulta to exchange it for a different shade that matches me a bit better. But other than that, I mean, this is certainly a foundation that I can see myself keeping and wearing. It's not, I mean, as of right now, it's not something that I see being a favorite of mine, but I do see it being a good thing for me to own for every now and then, especially during these hot sweaty months here. This did a great job in the humidity and through my sweat and stuff. So let me know down in the comments below, have you tried this foundation? How did you feel about it? What kind of skin did you have? I love seeing everybody's different takes on these things in the comments down below. I hope you guys found this review helpful and or enjoyable. If you did, please do go ahead, give me a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more content from me in the future. You can become a member of my casserole family here on my channel. I'd love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well. And until next time, just stay well until then. Bye!